with all due respect, Bobbi Althoff is not a talented person. With all due respect.
Drake.
All right, so it looked like your boy DJ Akademiks is a little upset that Drake is interviewing Bobbi Althoff again instead of giving him an interview. Let's check this out. Make sure y'all like the video and subscribe. Let's get it.
All right. So, bunch of thoughts here. I think it's clear to say, and I'm going to sit here and speak to y'all very openly, honestly, because I do hear a lot of, not even rumblings, but there's a loud echo and a loud noise saying, yo, Drake, my brother, I think you're not reading the room here. You just went through one of the most horrifying rap battles of life, and the entire premise was trying to show or trying to say you're not someone of the culture, and you keep doing content with people who seemingly are not within hip-hop, okay? And I completely understand that. And by the way, I do kind of look at Drake like, bad timing again. Now, honestly, I think this is a great business move. I just think it's bad timing. I think Drake, like, again, I could be wrong. I haven't asked him about it. It's no way he doesn't own a part of this podcast or the company that owns this podcast or is giving this woman an opportunity. With all due respect, Bobbi Althoff is not a talented person. With all due respect. There is a lane for her to flourish, but especially within the lane that she is trying to cannibalize off of, without Drake walking her through the door, now, not once, but twice, she is not as effective. No one really wants to sit with her. She comes across as either condescending or absent-minded. She doesn't do great interviews, but you are doing what we've accused Jay of doing. Giving someone a cultural key that maybe we don't think should even be a cultural visitor. So now you've told them they could live here. Drake has to, like, and I've spoken to many people about it. They're like, yo, no, Drake must be trying to fuck her. If Drake is doing this to try to fuck this chick, he's too horny. No, it's too great. No, it's too horny. He has to own part of her podcast or the network that's publishing her podcast. Otherwise, nothing makes sense. I will stick on that. Again, I would rather, and I hear the rumblings of people saying, no, Drake is just avoiding hip-hop press. Like, people are like, well, yeah, he ain't gonna do nothing with you, Maul, or nobody else. He's just avoiding y'all because he don't want to answer the questions. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. I think he is gonna do that in due time. And I want to believe that he has business with this woman. I will say the timing is still horrible. And reading the room is still not the thing that I've said about Drake, especially post beef. He's done accurately, but I don't know if he thinks he needs to or cares to read the room. But once I seen this, I was just like, even if you sign her podcast, brother, you need to fully complete the arc of you dropping your solo album, then doing it. Now, as far as Drake answering questions about some real shit, battle, he got to at some point. Got to. Like, you've been very hip-hop your entire career. That's why you battled. You're going to have to speak about these things, not just only on a record when convenient. And yes, I do understand that we have unrealistic expectations for Drake compared to other artists, just because, for example, Kendrick went on a whole hate-a-thon and nobody says, yo, he has to have a legit conversation about this stuff because he just never does conversations. The thing with Drake, he's much more forward-facing. We see him doing much more content. We see his voice and his opinion being dispersed much more than, say, a Kendrick, so we expect more from him. But I'm going to be honest with you, it's an overall gripe of the majority of artists. I'm hoping, and this is just my hope, right? So I'm going twofold. I believe this is a business move for Drake. Still ill-timed, but it's a business move. He has to own part of her podcast. If Drake don't own part of her podcast, I think he's an idiot. It's just no way that a woman that has been dejected from black culture and from urban culture and basically was starting to experience the effects of falling off. And maybe like they wanted to do a rebrand or whatever, or give her like a new like steroid shot. You're doing it twice for her, when essentially if she was as talented or she was as demanded or wanted or cared for by the community or by the hip hop sphere, she would be supported. For him to do it twice, he has to own part of her podcast, her entertainment career, I believe. Okay. Second of all, I don't, I'm not gonna jump on the bandwagon of people saying that Drake won't answer questions about real shit. There is gonna become a time, and I believe that time, again, he could think differently, but I think that time is gonna be after the album's out. When that album's out, he gotta talk. Not exactly immediately, but it is time for you to do what you normally do. All these conversations we're used to, it's been a while, I guess. I believe after the album, you let the music do the talking, and then you come back around and you fill in the gaps. That's how I believe. Okay? So for the people who do have questions like, how do you feel about this? I feel Drake isn't reading the room properly, but I think Drake is doing business. Again, just like when people ask me about the Kick situation or why doesn't he stream with you? I don't think Drake wants to stream. I think Drake sees a lucrative dollar sign and he follows the dollar sign to do streaming. And I don't think Drake wants to podcast. I think Drake is podcasting for a business opportunity. I could be wrong, and I'm okay and open to stand possibly at the precipice of, hey, no, you're wrong. This nigga is just out of touch. But I don't believe that's what that is. Again, specifically because it's Bobbi Althoff, it's puzzling to me because it's making me say, it's not even about, are you going to do content with, say, a me or a Mealy Mall or something? It becomes, bro, you got to realize that hip hop and urban culture has dejected this woman. They don't like her. They think she's condescending, ear-headed. They feel she's getting opportunities she doesn't deserve. They feel, even in whatever resolve they had with the Yachty situation, they feel like she's talking down to black artists who maybe she's looking at as, oh, y'all are stupid or y'all do silly shit. And it's one of the, those condescending type of things. I think Drake is shrewd enough to understand that. And if he continues to do stuff with her or he's relaunching stuff with her, it gotta be a money play, right? Because obviously, and I'll be honest, like, nigga, if I could sign Bobbi Althoff, I would definitely do it. And I'd be on a podcast with her spinning and grinning too. Because if whatever she gonna bring in, I'm gonna get my 30 or 40 or I don't know, maybe 50% for Drake, I could see it. But if he thinks this the move, he's out of touch. But I don't think that's it. I think it's business. And I'm pretty sure we'll figure in due time, as soon as the podcast is dropped, we'll figure out what company owns it, who's distributing it, and we'll see if Drake has anything to do with it. And if he doesn't, mark me on record. I think he's stupid.
I think Akademiks, after all of the support that he gave Drake during the beef, he felt like he was entitled to an interview. And as the beef has kind of weighed down, you can see Ak talking about Drake in ways that he wouldn't have spoke about Drake during the beef or before the beef. If Drake did the same move with Bobbi Althoff before the beef, you think Ak would be publicly calling Drake stupid? Oh, I think Drake is stupid for this. I think Drake is this. Since the beef has been over, I have seen Ak multiple times say things that I don't think Drake likes. And I've been noticing a pattern about Drake. Everybody he's been supporting post-beef has been people who have never went against him during the beef. Never said anything negative about him during the beef. If you pay attention, I think Maul and Akademiks have both said things that Drake didn't like. And Drake can still be cool with them and message them on Instagram and stuff like that and, you know, keep in contact with them. But no, I'm not going to give you guys any looks because I don't think he feels like these guys were loyal to him. I don't think he feels like a lot of guys in the hip hop sphere, the media space, were loyal to him. And I think he puts loyalty over everything. And while a lot of y'all feel like Akademiks is compromised and things of that nature, I don't think Drake looks at it that way. So that's why he's not giving you guys an interview. He don't like y'all. He don't like y'all like that. He don't F with y'all like that. And I think some of these guys need to come to terms with that. Just because he's talking to you and messaging you and, you know, sending you information, it doesn't mean that he looks at y'all like friends or people that he should be supporting or trying to make bigger. And all of this stuff that Ak was talking about when it comes to Drake and what Drake should be doing right now, it comes across as jealousy and like he's upset that he didn't get the interview. But also, for example, if Drake tried to come out and be pro-black right now and tried to do everything with all the black media people and everything you saw with Drake was black, everybody would say, oh, you're only doing this because you lost the beef. You lost the battle. I think it's smart for Drake to just continue to do the things that he would have did if the beef never happened at all. This is what Drake has been doing. Drake has been making fragrance. He's been getting more into fashion. He's been, you know, basically teaming up with anybody he wants to team up with. It's always a, oh my God, I can't believe he's with this person. I can't believe he's with that person. Like, he doesn't have this, he never had this, I'm only hanging out with the hip hop people kind of vibe. That was never him. During the beef, remember, you saw Uma Thurman from Kill Bill trying to offer him the Kill Bill jacket talking about the 20v1. That should let y'all know like a little bit about who Drake is and that his audience isn't just the hip hop space. So I don't think it's a good idea for Drake to act like the person Kendrick Lamar thinks he should be. And all of this ill time and stuff, yeah, that's in your brain. Drake doesn't have to follow this path of I'm gonna prove Kendrick wrong. And also, if Drake listened to all of y'all, he wouldn't be Drake. But the way Ak is coming off, man, I don't want to see Ak looking like he's jealous of Bobbi Althoff. So y'all tell me what y'all think about this. Like the video and subscribe. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.